I'm Dave Brown here at ringside, ready to go with another day of championship wrestling action. Boy, today we got a six-man tag team match that won't quit for the expiration of time match today. We'll also see the Mason-Dixon connection in here in a tag team match. Jeff Jarrett will be here, too. And a new tag team that I think you will find most interesting to watch. They're called the Wrestling Machines. We'll have more to say about them a little bit later on. We are going to get underway here very shortly, but I do want to take just a moment of time to say something about someone who's very special to me, who spent many, many years sitting right here in this chair. Of course, I'm talking about none other than Lance Russell. Lance, as many of you may know, has accepted another job. Now, Lance and I have worked in the same building for 25 years. We've shared this desk for 22 years, so it's going to take some getting used to sitting here and not having Lance sitting beside us. Lance, to me, personally, has been everything from an acquaintance to a co-worker to a boss to a teacher. He's responsible for much of the success that I've been able to enjoy in this television business. And he's also, perhaps more importantly, a friend, and will continue to be a friend. He's also a great friend to championship wrestling fans. Lance had planned to be here today, but he started his new job early. And Lance, you know I wish you happiness, and I'm sure all the fans all around the territory wish you the very, very best. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, we got a couple of guys in the ring right now as we're set to go with championship wrestling action. Got a great day today. Wrestling Machines, a new tag team that we'll be looking at today with a tremendous background in wrestling.
I'm sorry I'm late. My
late?
It's been delayed, and I've been circling the tower for about 30 minutes. You know how it is here in this airport.
Who are you, and what are you doing here?
Who am I? I'm Ronnie P. Gossett IV. Who are you? You must be Dave Brown.
I am Dave Brown.
You're my assistant, my sidekick.
Sidekick?
Sidekick, that's right.
I don't know what you're talking about here, but I appreciate it. Take your briefcase and your suitcase and just get out of here.
Well, can you move down for me? What is this?
I'm not moving down, no. We've got a show to do here.
I guess I'll have to... What? Get in here myself.
What's your name again?
I'm Ronnie P. Gossett IV. Where have you been all your life?
I've been right here, for heaven's sakes, doing championship wrestling for 22 years. What? We've got a match here, if you don't mind.
Listen, let me tell you something. You and Lance Russell have bored people to death for 20 years. I'm here to give you a little life, a little vim, and a little vigor. You know, let me ask you something. You know, when this show first comes on, you hear the applause, correct?
Yes, we do.
Believe me, brother, that's not applause. That's these idiots out here slapping themselves to wake themselves up.
Well, look, I don't know what this is all about. I just appreciate it. If you're going to sit here, then sit here and be quiet. We've got to get this underway here. Referee Jerry Calhoun has called for the bell. We've got tag team action as the Mason-Dixon connection. John Paul and Tracy Smothers are going against Keith Eric and the Hangman. That's John Paul. Just took a knee to the midsection from the Hangman. The Mason-Dixon connection is a fine tag team. That's what they are.
You know, Tracy Smothers and John Paul look good in the ring. It's a shame they can't wrestle. They're nice-looking guys, but they can't wrestle.
They certainly. Watch this. Hey, the double upper arm as a Hangman came off the ropes. Tracy Smothers takes over with a bar on the left arm. John Paul back outside. Look at this. Hangman shoulders down. Tracy rolled him up. Couldn't hold him for a 3 count, but he had the right idea going early for the count of 3. Hangman over to the corner to tag on Keith Eric.
You know, these guys have a little bit of potential. I might pass them one of my cards out and see what I can do. I'm very influential in this wrestling business.
What are your cards?
Right. I have a business. I'm not just a flunky like you that comes up here every Saturday and begs to get in and work.
We are joined here by Ronnie P. Gossett, who came in with suitcase in hand and is set down at the desk here. I don't know. I don't know why you're at the desk here. Why are you here?
Why am I here? I told you to save these people from 20 more years of boredom. We got rid of senile Lance Russell, and now I'm stuck with you, and you may be gone.
Well, I guarantee you, you're not Lance Russell's replacement, let me tell you that.
Not Lance Russell's replacement.
No, sir.
Just wait and see, kid. You better wake up and smell the coffee.
Tag made by John Paul on Tracy Smothers. Keith Eric back into the corner. John Paul fires it into the rope. Look at this, Tracy with an over-the-rope drop kick. Keith Eric immediately heads over to the corner and makes the tag on his partner, the Hangman. The Hangman, out of parts unknown, wears a mask. Keith Eric out of Memphis. Tracy Smothers out of Springfield, Tennessee, in there right now. His partner, John Paul, out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Mason-Dixon connection. Tracy and John Paul. Tracy Smothers. Nice hip toss. Puts the Hangman down to the mat. Hangman back up on his feet quickly, and Tracy Smothers just kept him flying and put him right back on the mat.
You know, I thought they gave out cheese and butter on Tuesday. What are you doing with this welfare crew in here on Saturday?
Tracy Smothers fires the Hangman into the rope. Takes his feet away from it. John Paul, look at that teamwork. John Paul sits down on him. Drop the leg across the back of the neck. John Paul goes to work, left arm. Ooh. Sits down on it. Shortens up on that left arm. Referee started the count. He got to 1, and the Hangman was able to lift the right shoulder up off the mat. That stopped the count right there.
It's such a shame that they do look good as a team, but they can't wrestle. Who trained these boys? Have they ever been trained? Look at them.
Are you watching the same match I am?
I certainly am.
Keith Eric comes into the ring, and to a rude greeting by John Paul, as John Paul immediately put him right down on the mat. Look at this. Tracy up on the rope. John Paul holding him up. He drops down and got that left arm. Then Tracy wraps up on it, takes it in a hammer position up behind the back, drops him off his feet, down, the shoulders down, count of 2. Thought he had it. I thought Tracy had the 3 count on Keith Eric, but he couldn't make it stick past the count of 2. Tremendous moves we've seen here from Tracy Smothers and John Paul.
I haven't seen any tremendous moves. Evidently, you're watching a different match than I am. What do you prefer to be called? Davey? David? Or what? What do you go by? What's your handle?
Well, I'm tempted to say with you, you could call me something formal like Mr. Dave is what I prefer to be called. Keith Eric back in the corner. The tag made, and the Hangman will be coming in.
You know, I really owe you and Lance Russell a lot of gratitude. I used to suffer from insomnia, but every Saturday I've been taping your tapes, and I have no trouble at all falling asleep, I can assure you.
Well, we very much appreciate the compliment. Thank you. At least we're able to help you out in some way there.
Well, that's about the only way.
Ronnie Gossett, Ronald P. Gossett, the fourth. I beg your pardon. The Hangman raking Tracy across the eyes, tried to fire him into the ropes, but a reversal on the whip. And Tracy Smothers puts him down to the mat. Tracy over to the corner. John Paul climbing a rope. Both these guys can fly. Tracy stretching him out. John Paul comes halfway across the ring. Tracy over to keep Keith Eric out of it. The 3 count falls. And the team of the Mason-Dixon connection has just won themselves a match here over Keith Eric and the Hangman. Boy,
I'm going to give these boys one of my cards. Believe me, they need all the help they can get.
Ronald P. Gossett out here claiming that he's here to save the show and that he's going to give those guys a card.
Just like I said, boys, you look good as far as appearance go, but you can't wrestle. Now, I have some cards. I just saw what happened. That's why I say it again. You can't wrestle. Now, I have some cards here. And I'm going to give you a card. You can read. Now, I will take time out of my busy schedule to help you in any way I can, because, believe me, you two need all the help you can get. Call me sometime and not collect.
Well, I hope you're satisfied. Now, I think you've just about succeeded in making everyone upset with you here, you know, and we've got a show to do. If you would please just leave, if you don't mind.
You tell it like it is, Davy Brown. What are you doing sitting here? I can see we've got a break, and you're sitting here like, look at it. You see that word? Break.
I see that word.
All right, we need to go to a break. Show a little professionalism. Don't just sit there.
Let's go to a break.
No wonder nobody likes you.
action Wednesday night at the Evansville Coliseum, including Thunderdome 89. Anything goes in this battle royal. $10,000 to a winner, a super prize for the wildest wrestling battle royal there's ever been. You will also see 2 tag title matches and a match involving the Japanese team against the Mason-Dixon connection. Let's bring in the stud stable. They will be defending the CWA tag titles against Jeff Jarrett and Brian Lee.
As you very well know, we are the world's tag team champions right now with a world-class company, CWA champions. And as you see, if you look closely, that these belts have been modified. We knocked the center section out, baby, and that's the 2 prettiest pictures you ever saw right there. Now, this Brian Lee boy, he may not be too bad. But, Jeff Jarrett, I have humiliated you up and down these roads hundreds of times, boy, and I'm going to do it again in Evansville, and I'm going to guarantee that. And as for your Thunderdome Battle Royal, you know, being the stud means one thing. It's very important, baby. You make them do like you want them to and make them like it. That's what makes you the Tennessee stud. And I'm going to promise you something in Evansville, baby. If they got a Thunderdome Battle Royal and it's going down, we're going to win it.
Let's hear from Dutch Mantell. He's wrestling Bill Dundee.
Yeah.
The trouble with Australian people or Scotsmen like Bill Dundee is they got a big fat mouth that always bumps at the wrong time and always says the wrong thing. Yeah, Dundee, you said this before. You say you talk a good fight, and so do I. But the difference between me and you is I fight a good fight. Now, I'm the CWA heavyweight champion. For the uninformed, you'd have to be a hermit not to know it. But I'm the greatest CWA heavyweight champion ever, and as such, I conduct myself like a champion. So, Dundee, if you got any kind of illusions of grandeur of getting in the ring and taking this belt away from me, well, you're backing up. Because I'm the champion, and I intend to stay the champion come heck or high water. And I can't say the other word, but Dundee, I'm going to take you out because you aren't fit enough to wear this belt.
You are looking at Alan Reynolds and Chris Frazier in the ring right now, set to go with tag team action. Alan and Chris weigh in at about 435 pounds. Alan's out of Arkansas, Chris Frazier out of Mississippi, and coming here, one of the meanest teams you're ever going to find.
This man knows what he's talking about.
I'm finally glad that you got a man out here that can wrestle. I'm glad to call this man my friend. Hello, Dutch Mantell.
Well, that's a dangerous sign right there as Dutch shakes hands with this man sitting at the ring here, Ronald P. Gossett IV. Let's get some action underway. That's Dutch Mantell out of Oil Trough, Texas. His partner, his last address on him was the Atlanta Federal Pin. Master of Pain is in there right now. Dutch tagged out quickly, wasted no time in getting the big guy in there.
It's awfully hot in here. Do you not have an air conditioner in this building? I can't sit out here and be uncomfortable.
What do you mean air conditioner? It's the dead of winter. It's got
Listen,
snow
don't
around.
try to be a weatherman with me. I just need an air conditioner. If you can't get it, I'll get somebody that can.
I do happen to be a weatherman, and I think everything's just fine in the studio here for most of us, all but you,
Most of
apparently.
it. The one that counts is uncomfortable.
Meaning you, of course, sir.
Of course.
Dutch Mantell, whoa, vicious right hand. He popped Chris Frazier. Knocked him right down on the mat. Got it right above the eyes on the forehead. Dutch Mantell makes the tag. This Master of Pain is 6'9", 325 pounds worth.
He looks totally awesome.
That's
Alan Reynolds looks like a guy that works down here at Hardee's. Is that where you got him, Hardee's?
Alan Reynolds, fine young wrestler who's come a long way here. Master of Pain. He just picks Frazier up in the air, turns him over, and throws him down to the mat. Drops down with the arm, cover. Nope, he doesn't cover it. Doesn't try for the 3 count. We're a minute and a half into the action. Power slam.
Power slam. Now, that looked great. Now we're finally seeing some decent wrestling.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you that Mantell and Master of Pain make an awesome tag team. I don't like their attitude. There's a count of 2
Who cares about their
and
attitude?
3. Minute 51 seconds, and give the win to Dutch Mantell and the Master of Pain. Alan Reynolds over now to help his partner Chris Frazier.
You think we need a stretcher to carry that imbecile out?
I think he'll be able to make it out under his own power with a little bit of help from his partner. He seems to be, well, he's shaking, of course, but he's getting out of here. I think he's all right. Dutch Mantell, Thank you. Dutch
Another
Mantell.
victory in the long string for Dutch Mantell. Nothing new. He's no stranger to this sport.
Listen, we got to take a break here. If I may interrupt you, please. We'll be back in just a moment.
This interrupting me is getting old.
I want to tell you, Thursday night, Montgomery, Indiana, Bar Reeves High School, save $1 on advance. The superstar, Bill Dundee, will be there. So will Jeff Jarrett, Mason-Dixon Connection, and Dutch Mantell. Big card in Montgomery. Wednesday night, let's talk about it. Wednesday at the Evansville Coliseum, you will see the Master of Pain against Jungle Jim. The Wrestling Machines will be in action against Frankie Lancaster and P.Y. Chuhai. CWA Tag Team Championship, we talked about that a little earlier. Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden with Sylvia will be going against Jeff Jarrett and Brian Lee. CWA champion Dutch Mantell against the superstar Bill Dundee in a title match. The Japanese team, Shogun and Samurai, against the Mason-Dixon Connection. And finally, Thunderdome 89. We talked about that a little earlier. The wildest wrestling match you've ever seen. They can come bring anything they want and wild action for $10,000 at the Evansville Coliseum Wednesday.
Forward to this match, Ronnie Gossett, even you should be impressed with the action that we see right here.
So far, I'm impressed. This is the opponent.
Here he is, right here. You want an opponent? You got one. Jeff Jarrett out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, stepping into the ring to do battle with Tampa, Florida's Frankie the Thumper Lancaster. This match, one fall, 10-minute time limit. Referee Jerry Calhoun getting everything set. Here we go.
You know, Jeff Jarrett looks good in the ring, but like I say, his wrestling ability is limited, mainly because he was trained by his father, Jerry Jarrett, and he couldn't fight or wrestle his way out of a paper bag. So the kid automatically has a curse against him right there, having anything to do with Jerry Jarrett.
You are talking about a young man who was Rookie of the Year, his absolute first year in the wrestling business.
We're talking about Rookie of the Year last year. We're talking about
Not last year, no. We're talking about several years ago.
Several years ago.
Talking about a man who has held championship belts and is one of the finest wrestlers, not around here, anywhere. Jeff Jarrett.
I certainly hope he does much better than Jerry Jarrett, because I've watched Jerry Jarrett wrestle. He was even sued for impersonating a wrestler one time.
Come on. Jeff Jarrett with the left arm guard on Frankie the Thumper Lancaster. Tell you what, if you have watched Frankie the Thumper Lancaster over the last couple of months, you know he is a tough, rugged, fine wrestler. And I think we've said before here, only quarrel.
He looks rugged, but I don't know about the fine part. I'll have to form my own opinion.
Only quarrel we have had with Lancaster is his attitude, which was lent to him by Robert Fuller in the stud stable.
There's nothing wrong with an attitude, I'll tell you that right now. And Robert Fuller is one of the finest athletes in the country.
Look at Jeff trying to put it down. He does. Shoulders on, and that count is 1, 2. But he couldn't
expect more than that.
Couldn't make it stick for a 3 count. Jeff, pretty well controlling things, though. He's got the thumper down on the mat again. Frankie Lancaster.
Right now he has the thumper. If you're going to sit out here with me, could you kind of dress a little bit better? I mean, I don't want to knock your clothes, but, you know, the Jot 'em Down store don't exactly get it out here.
I'm not even going to comment on a comparison there, if you don't mind. Jeff Jarrett with the left arm.
You're going to have to do something with this desk. I don't have as much room as I want.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to argue with that either. You do need a lot of room. I'll let it go with that. Nice move by Jeff Jarrett, and another one as he keeps things going here. And Frankie Lancaster ends up once again on the mat, where he has been a good part of this match. 2 minutes, 30 seconds into the action.
It's just a matter of time till Jeff Jarrett's on the mat. 1, 2, 3, and that'll be the end of that.
Jeff Jarrett hanging on. Got that arm barred. Well, you look at that hold, and it doesn't look that impressive. But let me tell you, he's putting pressure on the shoulder, and there are ways he can hang on to it that he puts pressure on the elbow, too. And what that other wrestler, in this case Frankie Lancaster, is thinking is not how can I beat Jeff Jarrett, it's how can I get out of that hold. He does it off the rope. Shoulder butt by Jeff. Oh, look at Lancaster. See, you can't take him out of any match. You can't sell him short. He's tough. Jeff does end up with the advantage, though, and that left arm now in the hammer position up behind Lancaster's back. Jeff drops down.
Series, he has looked good, but let's not talk too much about Jeff Jarrett. Let's talk about the thumper. I'm very impressed with the thumper.
Talking about the thumper, let's talk about who's controlling the match. Who's controlling?
Right now, Jeff Jarrett is controlling.
You got it. He's controlling.
Don't count the thumper out.
Not going to count him
One
out
thing
yet.
you've got to be is impartial out here, Davy Brown.
And we certainly try to do that when circumstances allow us. It's hard sometimes when you see guys breaking the rules left and right. And I got to say about Lancaster, he has not been breaking many of the rules today.
That's a very legitimate forearm smash.
That's a very unlegitimate fist he just hit him with right there.
That wasn't a fist. That was a forearm smash. That shows how much you know.
Look at Jeff. Oh, tries to come off the ropes with a flying press, and Lancaster had gotten in too close to him. Jeff hits the mat, and he's holding his right elbow. He hit that mat hard coming off the rope. Lancaster now.
If he landed on his head, he definitely isn't hurt, I can assure you that.
Lancaster with a clothesline as Jeff comes off the ropes. Jeff Jarrett, who had really been looking so good, I mean had been dominating, made the mistake, and Lancaster with a cover. One. Only a 2 count.
Calhoun had been out of position. That would have been a win for Thumper Lancaster. How long are you going to keep this Calhoun creep?
Lancaster.
Referee, when I get my squad in here, we'll have a complete change.
Squad?
My squad.
Hey, you're going to, wait a minute. You're going to take over as a co-host here. You're going to bring a squad in here.
Don't use the word co-host. You are the co-host. I am the host.
Well, it remains to be seen, I think.
Well, just stick around.
Go, Jeff, go, the crowd says. Oh, Lancaster with a reverse neck breaker. Lancaster, I think, may have just made a mistake. He now goes for the cover, but he wasted a lot of time. Counted 2. I'm not sure but what Lancaster could have had a win if he had gone for the cover.
You got that ignorant referee, Calhoun, out of position, or Jeff Jarrett's shoulders would have been pinned.
Referee was in position. Lancaster just wasted a lot of time before he ever got to the cover. Jeff up high in the air. Boy, things aren't looking good for the last 2.5 minutes.
The Retirement Mandatory Commission finally did a good thing by forcing Lance Russell to retire. It was 10 years overdue.
That is absolutely false.
And another thing, I have heard from very good sources that you've been seeing a shrink.
You've what?
That you've been seeing a shrink. I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Everybody has problems.
Well, I don't know.
I'm not one to gossip, and I don't start rumors, but I don't want you cracking up.
You're going to keep it to yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I will need your help for a little while, but you are limited. You do know that.
I see. Well, I don't know what your source is, but you better get new sources is all I can tell you.
I just don't want you cracking up.
Frankie Lancaster controlling now as he's got the chin lock on Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett should submit.
There's a great view of the hold. You can see it right on the chin, and he's pulling back so that it's very tough for Jeff to move that head at all. Lancaster takes him right back down to the mat. Want to keep him off his feet because Lancaster knows if Jeff gets on his feet, he has a lot more options. He can move a lot better.
Isn't Eddie Marlin Jeff Jarrett's grandfather?
Yes.
Well, that's 2 kisses of death that kid's got. Eddie Marlin never won a wrestling match.
Oh, Eddie Marlin was co-holder of the championship belts for many years. He and his partner held the belts longer than anybody else. That record stood for a long, long time. I tell you, like I say, you better get new sources. Let me tell you, Jeff had it covered, a count of 1.
Well, I watched Eddie Marlin back when I was 5 years old, and I never watched him win a match.
Count of 1 again is Jeff Jarrett again looking good. He hooks the arms, takes Lancaster down. 1, 2, but he can't hold him. Lancaster rolls on over. Small package by Jeff. Count of 2 again. Jeff Jarrett trying his best to get the 3 count. Couldn't quite get it. He takes him down to the mat. Oh, here comes Dutch Mantell.
That's my boy, Dutch Mantell.
Dutch Mantell.
Why are you ringing the bell?
Because Dutch Mantell has just interfered in the match here.
He
That's
didn't
why,
interfere.
of course.
He's hipping him up. What are you talking about?
Helping him out. Call it what you want to. It's illegal. It's disqualification on Lancaster. Jeff slides under him out of the ring. Hand is up. Jeff Jarrett Boy, what a smart move.
Very smart
What
move.
a
When do you
smart
call
move.
running from anybody a very smart move?
Hey, when it's 2 against 1, Dutch Mantell and Lancaster, Jeff Jarrett made the greatest move he could have possibly made at that particular point.
He sure did.
And that's to get out of the ring and have that hand raised and the victory that he just earned there
Look
by
at these morons. They're over here applauding a move where somebody runs from someone.
7 minutes, 43 seconds. And Mantell in Lancaster, especially Mantell, frustrated that Jeff left instead of staying here. All right.
Let me tell you one thing. Jeff Jarrett just proved what kind of low-life, egg-sucking coward he is. We're not in a track meet. We're in a wrestling match. One day I'm going to keep him in that ring.
Yeah, one-on-one, I guarantee you, would have still been in there with you, too. But 2 against 1, he did the right thing, and he got out of there. Now, if you'll get out of here, we'll get another match going. And while he's at it, why don't you leave with him?
I'll be here when you're long gone, my friend. Your days are numbered.
Oh, my goodness, what a day. Alan Reynolds coming back in here. Alan
We
saw...
didn't see this boy from Hardee's.
He saw limited duty. I think it was officially only in the match for about 15 or 20 seconds.
I have watched this Action Jackson guy. Let me talk, and when you want to talk, you can ask me. How's that?
Well, go ahead. Let's see how you do. Let's go ahead. Call the match.
All right,
here.
look at Action Jackson in there, moving out. Now, that is a professional wrestler.
You know where Action Jackson is from?
He can be anywhere. He can be from anywhere he wants to be. He don't have to have a designated place.
Texarkana, Texas. You know how much he weighs?
He will outweigh me by about 30 pounds.
He weighs 311.
That's on the hoof.
Alan Reynolds out of Arkansas. Alan will weigh in somewhere in the neighborhood of about 226. All right, you want to call the match? Go ahead.
He looks like he's been sick, Alan.
That was a body slam.
That was anything he wants it to be. I'm very impressed with this Action Jackson.
Action Jackson has just missed twice. Alan Reynolds presses him to the mat. Out of the ring, down on the floor, and look out, Alan. Action Jackson picks him up.
He's
Nails
handling him like a sack of potatoes.
Got him with a fist. Hit him with the fist, runs him into the ring post. Yeah, real fine wrestling action.
The guy is clumsy and stumbled into the ring post. Don't use these words, run him into the ring
post. Here comes Reynolds, back up. Action Jackson.
You might as well stick a fork in Reynolds. He's done.
He pulls him into the ring, slams him down to the mat. Down to 1, 2.
Well, I'm glad to see Calhoun can count that eye.
It's 1 minute 40 seconds and a win for the huge, intimidating Action Jackson as he gets the victory here over Alan Reynolds. That's the way that one goes. Action Jackson with a victory. To his credit, we will take a break, and we will be back with you in just a
I'm
moment.
going to have to get some air in here.
All right, those are the medics stepping up on the ring apron right here. Their opponents are going to be coming out here, too. And a new teaming. Here they come under the white mask. Those are the Wrestling Machines. Wrestling Machine 1 and 2. Well, these guys, I'll tell you about these guys as we go along. As a matter of fact, let's get the action underway. The Wrestling Machines going against the medics. Medic number 1 under the black mask starting against the Wrestling Machine number 1. These are 2 guys who have wrestled around the area and have not had the mask on.
Well, who are they?
But they have formed a team, and Mr. Wrestling number 1 and 2. Some of you longtime wrestling fans will remember.
We can't remember that far back. Johnny Walker.
I said longtime wrestling fans could remember that. A couple of the finest wrestlers with the best records in the history of the sport. And they were kind of heroes to these guys right here. They decided to form a team and go under the mask and
must be pretty ugly
wrestle that way and see how things work out. So wrestling machines, number 1 and number 2, your first look at them anywhere right here today on CWA Championship Wrestling.
Is that number 1 or number 2 in there?
That's both of them in there, 1, 2. There's a tag made. Medic number 2 will be coming in.
How can you tell who's 2 and who's 1?
Well, with the medics, it's easy because one has a white mask and the other has a black mask. Medic number 2 in there right now. Minute 15 seconds.
What are they called? The Dream Weavers?
They are called the Wrestling Machines.
Oh.
The Wrestling Machines, number 1 and number 2. Boy, I tell you, so far, I'm impressed. What we're seeing...
Doesn't take much to impress you, though.
Well, these are a couple of guys who should impress you because they've got not only a great high school wrestling background, but both of them have a tremendous collegiate wrestling background. They know wrestling.
See that move right there? That is an illegal move.
It's not an illegal move.
Certainly is. That's double teaming.
Well, the other one stepped out of the ring immediately after that, and the other one was there to take over. Medic number 2 in there. Not doing too well either against the Wrestling Machine. Wrestling Machine makes a tag, and this is... boy, I tell you, these guys are hard to tell apart. Wrestling Machine number
Certainly
1 and 2.
are.
Both of them very,
Both look terrible.
very well built. This is Wrestling Machine number 2. And the Medic, boy, did you see that move? Over the years, wrestling fans have said, hey, you know, we love seeing wrestlers who really wrestle. And they bring up names like Lou Thez from many years ago. Oh,
he's holding the title.
he got a submission out of him. He was holding him up in the air in that fireman's carry, and he got a submission. Referee said, ring the bell. So the Wrestling Machines, number 1 and number 2, are going to walk out of here with a victory under their belts, and I am impressed by the wrestling moves that we have seen from the two guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of Wrestling Machines, number 1.
Not. They didn't impress me at all.
And number 2, and I'm not looking forward to seeing more of you. I do want to
you'll
get
see more of me. I'm like the World's Fair. I get bigger and better every year.
I do want to call the King out here. The King has got a tour coming up of Japan, and maybe we can get a few words from him.
Wait just a minute. You're calling the King out here. Let me interview Jerry Lawler.
I'll interview Jerry Lawler if you don't mind. King?
Hey, just back
King's
off.
going to Japan to defend the unified world title, and I'm interviewing the King.
You sit over here and do what you do best. Sit at this desk and look stupid.
There he is. Jerry Lawler with a unified world title in hand.
You just sit down. I'll take it from here.
King, this guy says he's going to do the interview. Just watch
Who is
yourself,
he and
okay?
what is he?
Sit down over here, nitwit. I told you I was taking over. You take your spot here. Jerry Lawler, I have watched you many, many, many long years. I admit I have respect for you. You're a champion. You've beat many, many people. You're going to Japan. These guys are in tip-top shape. They run, they do squats, and you're going to represent us. Well, let me tell you something. You are out of shape. You look... I cannot believe that a world champion would let theirself go the way that you have. You have hit these fast food places till you've ran them out of business. I'm being serious with you, Lawler. You look horrible. I mean, really. What is it?
First of all, if you're going to conduct this interview, you say your piece, and then when it's time for me to say something, try to put the microphone over here where I can speak something first. Now, let me say, I didn't believe in hate at first sight until today. But you're going to stand out here and you're going to tell me, you're going to look at me and tell me that I'm out of shape? You're going to do that? Wait a minute. Just look, now you've been talking and running your mouth the entire show. Let me just say a few words. First of all, I don't know much about you, Ronnie P. Gossett, but I want to ask you a question.
Ronnie P. Gossett, the 4th.
Okay, the 4th. Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you one question. Ronnie P. Gossett, the 4th. Is that your real face, or are you breaking it in for a bulldog, or what is the deal? say this, too. There's one good thing about your face. It's not as ugly as your body. I don't want to say you're fat, Ronnie P. Gossett IV, but I'll bet you get fan mail from Moby Dick, don't you? Huh?
Let me tell you something, Lawler.
I'm not through, and you couldn't tell me anything. You might ask me something. Now, you know, a guy as fat as you are, when he gets on an elevator, it better be going down. Am I right or not? Look at him. Huh? Is that right? Huh? Are you going to conduct this interview? You're going to stand here and tell me I'm out of shape? You know, Ronnie P. Gossett IV, you ought to keep your mouth closed or somebody's going to stick an apple in it, and then you'll look just right. You understand that? As a matter of fact, Ronnie P. Gossett IV, I would think, don't you ordinarily need a license to be that fat? Huh? Is that right? You're fat, and you're going to call me out of shape, huh?
Let me tell you something, Lawler. You don't call me fat. Now, I may be a little bit overweight. I may be a little chubby in certain spots. But let me tell you something. I am not fat. Now, you can stand out here and knock me all you want to. But the bottom line is, you're going to Japan. You're going to represent us, and you've got all these little kids that look up to Jerry Lawler. Don't you know what a bad example you're starting? When they look up to you, you know what's going to happen to you when you get to Japan? They're going to send you right back. They're going to take one look at you, and they're going to say, is this the best we have for a world champion? Then you're coming back. Because, brother, you look terrible. Are you not exercising? What is it?
Well, let me just say, apparently you don't have any mirrors at your house either, do you, Ronnie P. Gossett IV? Because you see, and you stand, are you trying to tell these people that you're going to be an announcer out here, that you're going to try to take the place of somebody like a Lance Russell? Is that what you're trying to do? Huh? Well, somebody with a voice like yours, you see, you got that little high squeaky voice. Somebody with an IQ like yours should have a low voice too, see, to match your IQ. So don't try to come out here and tell people that you're going to take over the show. I've already heard you out here. You're knocking everything. You're knocking Eddie Marlin. You're knocking Dave Brown. You're knocking Jeff Jarrett. You're knocking me. You're even knocking a match that I am really looking forward to, like this. You knocked the egg in the face match. What do you got to say about something?
The egg in the face match.
Right.
Now, that could only come from over here with senile Eddie Marlin. He had to book an egg match. Let me tell you something.
Do you even understand what the concept of that match is?
No, I don't, but an egg match. What is an egg match? A guy stands there and the guy throws the egg, right?
No.
And the first one to get a dozen leaves or wins, right?
No. Let me tell you about an egg match. What an egg match is that's where somebody puts at stake his dignity, his pride, because if he loses the match, they have a little contraption that the guy stands in, he puts his hand behind. Now, the other wrestler doesn't throw the eggs. You pick not 1, not 2, not 10, but 50 people out of the audience, and they get to come up and throw eggs in this loser's face. And then wait a minute. I mean, has anybody got any eggs? Are there any eggs here? No eggs? Well, I wish we had some eggs. Hey, Eddie, let me just show you how this works without the eggs, okay? Because they do happen to have, do you have the thing that the guy gets in? Because I don't think you understand what we try to do around here. I don't think you understand. I'll tell you what. Come here, look, do you see this little apparatus right here?
I see that little one-horse contraption.
Okay, what it is, when somebody loses an egg match, a guy stands in there. Of course, there's a little screen over there to protect his eyes or whatever, and a guy stands in there, and then he takes the humiliation and he takes the embarrassment of being hit in the face with eggs by the fans. Now, you don't think that would be exciting? You don't think that would be funny? Look, just put yourself in the place of the loser of the match. Come here. No eggs. Anybody got any eggs? We don't have any eggs, but
First place, I can't get in that contraption.
no, you don't get in it. Look, all you would do is stand behind it. You would just stand right there. You would just stand in there. Now the loser of the match would have to stand in there. You put your arms right down in here, and then the fans would come up and throw eggs in the guy's face. Look, see. And then you got this stuff. If we only had any eggs. See, that's what it would be like. Hey, wait a minute. I got it. I have some egg right here. Come. I found
Nobody, shut up, you heathens. Nobody makes a fool out of Ronnie P. Gossett IV. I know everybody in this business. I'm the godfather of professional wrestling. And I can tell you one thing. I know politicians, and I know people. You can laugh all you want to. I'll remember this, Lawler. Believe me, I'll remember this, and you will too.
You said one thing right. You said nobody makes a fool out of Ronnie P. Gossett. That's only because God beat us to it, brother. He did that a long time ago.
You haven't heard the last of this. If you think I'll forget this, you're crazy.
Let's take a break, and we'll be back with you in just a moment.
All right, Evansville, Indiana, Wednesday night, championship wrestling, a big card including the Japanese tag team Shogun and Samurai against the Mason-Dixon Connection and also a Thunderdome Battle Royal.
That's right, Randy. The Japs know we've beaten them already. Mr. Hickerson likes to stick his nose where it doesn't belong. We're going to knock it right off if you come in there again. And Thunderdome, we're coming after you, too.
All right, good luck to you. You want to bring in the superstar, Bill Dundee, Thunderdome 89, and Dutch Mantell.
That's right, and I was in Thunderdome 88 and 87 and 86, you name it. I've been in a match in Evansville. The superstar ain't been in bullwhip matches, and I don't like getting beat, Mantell. I don't mind getting beat if it's 1, 2, 3 by one guy. But you ran that big goof Action Jackson down, knocked my head off, knocked me off the edge of the ring. You jumped back on after you chickened that from the bullwhip, you got... And Frank Morrell thought you had won. Well, brother, you didn't win, and deep down in your heart, you know you didn't. And Thunderdome 89, you can bring anything you want. Know what this is, brother? That's for poking the fire. Well, I'm going to poke something else with it, brother. I'm going to poke whoever gets in the way in 89. That's right. I got a little score to settle with you, Mantell, and I got a lot to settle with the folks out there, because I don't like letting them down. I told them I was going to beat you in the bullwhip match, and I did it. You chickened out, brother, and you run that big goof Action Jackson down. Well, Action Jackson, I got something for you, brother. I saw the movie Action Jackson where you got your name, and you don't look nothing like him, brother. You big, and you twice as dumb as a Knox, Jack. Oh, you probably think you're smart. Think about what I said, brother. You twice as smart as a Knox, and twice as big. That's right, Action Jackson, I don't like you. And Mantell, you hairy goat, I don't like you. And in 89 Thunderdome, I'm going to take somebody's lights out with it. Thank you. Thank you, Randy.
Good luck to you, Bill. Evansville Coliseum Wednesday night, that Thunderdome Battle Royal, one of the wildest matches we've ever seen. Looking forward for that. Also want to remind you, this Thursday night at the Bar Reeves High School, Montgomery, Indiana, Bill Dundee will be there. A big card coming up. Don't forget, Wednesday night, Thunderdome 89.
In the ring right now, ready for a 6-man tag team match. We've got Jungle Jim McPherson out of Salem, New Jersey, the concrete jungles of Salem, New Jersey. We got Jed Grundy out of Salt Gum, Kentucky, and from Orlando, Florida, Brian Lee. Coming up here right now, the Japanese team, Shogun Masamune and Samurai Shinji, with P.Y. Chuhai, also known as Phil Hickerson, and in their corner, kendo stick in hand, Tojo Yamamoto. 6-man tag team match. Jerry Calhoun will be the referee in this one. And I don't know who's going to be starting for which team. Looks like Jed Grundy is set to start for his team. The man out of Salt Gum, Kentucky, weighs in at 423 pounds. And P.Y. Chuhai has stepped out. Looks like it is going to be Samurai Shinji starting out for his team. Oh, he runs into Jed Grundy. This may be a revelation for the Japanese team. I don't know how closely they have followed Jed Grundy. Jed out of Kentucky, and he is tough, let me tell you, as you just saw, as Shinji ran right into him, and it didn't budge Grundy an inch. He just knocked him down. Look at that. Grundy's so big that Shinji can't even get his arms all the way around him. Speaking of being so big, you can't do that. Here comes... I thought we were rid of you.
You'll never be rid of me, but I'll tell you one person who will be rid of, and that's that moron Jerry Lawler. Nobody throws egg in my face and gets away with it.
A lot of people have said that. A lot of people have tried.
Well, I can back it up, and if I can't back it up, I know people that can back it up.
Don't like the sound of that. Tag made by Jed Grundy, and Jim McPherson will be coming in now. McPherson against P.Y. Chuhai.
Jed Grundy. He could make a good commercial for Weight Watchers. Look at him. You know, I was back in the control room, and we are getting flooded with calls that you're talking too much, and I'm not getting to say a word.
I'll bet we're getting flooded with calls, but I question that that's what the callers are saying. Tag made by P.Y. Chuhai, and Shogun Masamune will be coming in right now.
Who is this Beach Boy bum in the blue tights?
That's Brian Lee, Beach Boy bum nothing. He's, matter of fact, he's a former holder of the CWA heavyweight title. He took it away.
Former holder. That key word, former holder. We're not talking about yesterday. We're talking about today.
We're talking about today's championship caliber wrestler is what we're talking about. Jim McPherson out of Salem, New Jersey in here. Boy, he can move.
Yeah, he sure can.
Here comes Brian Lee back in after the tag. Lee. Oops. Down to the mat goes Mr. P.Y. Chuhai. This is the man that Brian Lee took that CWA title off.
I don't know how he ever done
right
it.
Here on TV.
He must have been asleep, that's for sure.
Oh, now look at Hickerson. Raked him across the eyes with the fingers. Hickerson into the ropes.
I notice you have Tojo Yamamoto out here, who needs no introduction, one of the smartest managers in this business. The show is picking up, Dave.
No argument. Here's what I argue with right here.
What did he do? He ran into his stick. He didn't do anything. Didn't do anything at all. You need glasses. I have a pair, an extra pair.
I think you fans saw exactly what happened.
I didn't see him do anything.
P.Y. Chuhai putting that leg down on the mat, holding it there.
Look at Haystack
Masamune comes in.
Haystack Jr. over here. He needs to stay in his corner. You talk about looking terrible. Look at him.
Well, they sit down on that leg, and they got it bridged up across the rope.
He doesn't look too hot now. You talk about him being a former champion. That's why he is a former champion.
Well, Tojo Yamamoto started this problem that Brian Lee is having right now when he hit him with that kendo stick from outside.
That's your tale.
Hickerson. Ooh.
Hickerson has always been one of the toughest men in this sport.
They pick him up and slam those knees down right into the mat. Double team by P.Y. Chuhai and Shogun Masamune for the Japanese team. By the way, it's Ronnie P. Gossett IV who has joined us here uninvited at the table and has been here most of the day.
Uninvited. I have already told you, and you keep running your mouth, I'll get rid of you today.
Got about 5 minutes left in the time limit here.
And I'll tell you another thing. Next week when I'm here, we need to screen some of our guests. They've been yelling some things at me that I don't appreciate at all.
Well, I'm sure you don't appreciate them. Unfortunately for you, I think they may be telling the truth a good part of the time. Hickerson. Boy, look at him. With that kick behind the back of the leg. They have really...
Perfectly legal. Perfectly legal.
Well, you're right. It is.
Brian Lee is so dumb, he can't find his corner.
Well, they've been double and triple teaming him, keep him away from the corner. Brian Lee moved out of the way that time. He's almost to the corner, and he gets the tag. Badly needed tag. On Jungle Jim, look at him. Come in, look at him get off the mat. Way up in the air. He drop kicks all of them. Jed Grundy around to keep Tojo Yamamoto busy.
This big slob is coming after a manager. Now, you tell me that's in the rules?
Well, it is if Tojo Yamamoto keeps interfering, and he's done so many times. Look out, the Japanese double team Jim McPherson. They cover. Referee counts 2, 3. This one's over. It's going to be the Japanese team.
It was over when the bell rang. You think those 3 idiots could stay with Tojo's staff? Not at all.
Well, they stayed with him and gave him a good battle until Tojo hit him with that kendo stick and allowed the triple and double teaming to start. Come on, it's over. Tojo, get him out of there. Hickerson takes the kendo stick. Boy, you guys keep it up. Referee will disqualify you. Take the fall away. Well, here comes some help. Yeah. Mason Dixon Connection jumps in there to help out. And watch this, Mr. Gossett. You're going to see the Japanese team leave in a hurry. There they go.
Nothing wrong with them doing the powder. They just scoop. Nothing at all. I don't blame them.
We're going to take a break. Back with you in just a moment. Ronnie P. Gossett IV will not be here next week, but
That's what you think. I will be here next week. The question is, will you be here next week? You're not getting rid of me.
I will be here next week. I hope you will be here
So
next
long,
week,
fans.
too, for championship wrestling action. Dave Brown here.
It's been your
So long.
pleasure.
The announcers on this program are selected and paid by parties other than this station, namely the promoters of championship wrestling.